guys, welcome back to Lingaroo, where language comes to life. As you know, hopefully you know, we've been doing this about 9 months or so. We have developed some great relationships with some of you and have interacted on Facebook and through Instagram and Twitter. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm excited about today's video because today is going to be a specific question and answer session where I'm going to dive in and answer some of the questions that you've sent me, either in the comment section down below or via email or Facebook. So it's going to be great. Don't go away. As I said, welcome back, Lingaroo Troop. It's great to have you joining us today. Guys, I am blown away. I am so excited about this channel and what it is very quickly becoming. We are adding new subscribers every day and getting new interactions with you guys, you like-minded parents who are intentional about stimulating speech and language within the context of everyday life, where language comes to life. And guys, as we're thinking about building this community and building this Lingaroo troop or tribe, if you haven't already, be sure and subscribe, right? Click that bell notification icon down there and that'll notify you every time I upload content. You know, when I first started this, I was really hoping to do weekly uploads, and that's still the goal, but just as I'm sure you experience at your own house, life happens, right? And life at my clinic gets crazy, and life in my own house gets crazy. So be sure and click that notification so you'll be sure and know when I do upload new content. And please, if you have found this helpful, by all means, share it with your friends, right? Help me get this word out. One of our videos that we did early on was about starting this revolution, right? Let's start a revolution with parents and like-minded caregivers about this idea of stimulating language. And you can help just by sharing it on Facebook or sharing it on your own Twitter feed. If you're in a parent group, by all means, share it in that group, right? There are so many parents out there who could benefit from this information, and you can play a huge part in helping them find this channel. So again, welcome back. Today we're going to dive in. A lot of you have contacted me via Facebook or Instagram or however. You've asked me some really great questions, and so I thought it would be great just to take a day, a session, a video, and just to kind of dive in and to answer a few of those. I may not have time to get to all of them in this video, but we're going to answer as many as we can today about speech and language and language development in the home and autism. And I think it's going to be really great. You know, maybe you've had a question and you haven't put it in the comments below. I really want to encourage you to do that. You know, my why, the reason I'm doing this is to come alongside of you guys. If you haven't seen some of our previous videos, I really believe with my whole heart that you are the expert. You're the expert on your kiddo. And my job, even though I've had some training in speech therapy and I have a degree in that and some certification, but you guys are the ones who are there with your child every day, day in and day out, and you know your kiddo better than anybody. So I really count on you guys to share with me exactly what it is that you need, and give me ways and give me ideas of how I can come along and support you even better. And so I'm grateful for those of you who have submitted questions, and we're going to kind of dive in and address some of those today. One of the first questions I got was, what are your favorite toys to use during speech therapy? I have a feeling that this came from a therapist. A lot of the folks that are going to be interacting with us are more parents, but I will tell you, I don't necessarily have a favorite toy. If you saw, and this goes for you parents at home too, if you saw the last video that we did a few weeks ago, we talked about how you can stimulate language using any toy, right? And then it has more to do with the child and what's going to be motivating to the child, where the child's at, and the types of things that we are working on, right? So if you have a typically developing child, let's say, you're going to want to look at those developmental milestones early on as they relate to what we would think of as like a typical progression of development. So you could look at, okay, where's my kiddo? What are they doing right now? What are they going to be doing next? And how can I use any toy to help get them there, right? If you have a child on the autism spectrum, those developmental milestones are going to look a little bit different, right? We know this, and I think we're kind of in an exciting time in the field of autism, and I'll be talking about this a little bit more with some of these other questions. But the development or the developmental milestones in neurodiverse or autistic children, it is very different than what we see in this linear progression in the neurotypical development population. And so don't be surprised or don't be discouraged by that. And again, we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in the next few minutes. But going back to this idea of toys, this is one of my favorites. I just picked this up out of the clinic. This is an Echo mic. Doot, doot, doot. It kind of echoes back, and there's a spring in it, so it kind of makes the sound waves echo back to you. Typically, a speech pathologist or someone who's wanting to stimulate language could think about this to use for speech sounds, right? If you're trying to focus on a specific sound or model a specific sound for your child at home, well, sure, a microphone, right? Because what do you do with a microphone? You talk into it. So that makes sense in terms of how this toy was designed by the toy creator and kind of what they probably had in mind when they created this. But I would say, again, go back and watch last week's video. Let's think outside the box, right? How could we use this toy to stimulate action verbs? Right? I'm talking, I'm singing, I'm bonking, bonk, 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 I'm tapping, tap, 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 I'm rolling, I'm tossing up, throwing up, right? All of these action verbs. We could talk about language location concepts. If your child is needing to work on understanding locations, put the microphone in a box, take it out, put it under the table, right? It's on top, or let it be a hat, for heaven's sake. Look, it's on my head. Take it off, right? So this microphone just became a way to stimulate location concepts. Another great thing you can do is to use this to model and stimulate questions and answers. And this is great for those of you, and again, we're going to get to this, but those of you who had questions about echolalia, or maybe a child on the autism spectrum, or a child who has language delays or difficulties, who has trouble answering the question. Well, who wants milk? I do. Do you want milk or juice? Right? And you model it and you build anticipation and you use something like this, but it could be a spoon, right? It could be a make-believe microphone. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the toy. So that's basically kind of my answer, or I guess my non-answer, as far as my favorite toys. I would be less concerned about what my favorite toys are, and more concerned about what are the child's 5 favorite toys, right? And again, this goes for you at home as well. What are the things that are going to be most motivating, most engaging for your kiddo, and how can we use those to kind of stimulate the language that we're hoping to elicit from them? Oftentimes in the clinic, I do what's called a survey of preferences. And I kind of ask the family or the parents or the caregivers at the very beginning, what are the most motivating toys for your child? What types of foods do they like? What types of videos do they enjoy, right? And I talk about ways and train them on ways that you can incorporate that into everyday activities at home, but then also how we can incorporate those into the clinic and use those for speech therapy. So again, thinking about the toy, thinking about how you can use any toy to stimulate action verbs, location concepts of size, shape, color, number, questions, asking the question and answering the questions, just any way to engage your child and elicit language using any toy. So again, if you haven't seen that video, I'd go back and check that out if I were you. Okay, guys, we interrupt this broadcast. Let me tell you what happened. So we started videoing this a couple weeks ago, and then through the editing process, I realized that the video was just entirely too long for you guys. The video had too much content, and we were trying to address too many questions at once. So we're gonna stop it here. I hope that was helpful, talking about motivating our kiddos with toys and how you can stimulate language with any toy. If you didn't watch our video about that specific topic, you're going to want to go back and do that. And then just let's continue this conversation. If you have continuations of your questions or follow-on questions, put them down below in the comments, or find our Facebook page and contact me via message on the Facebook page. I love this part. I love engaging with you guys. I love discussing these topics with you and trying to answer your questions and kind of scratch where you're itching. Right? So be sure and comment, share it with your friends. And like I said, we're gonna put out another video here soon with those last 2 questions, talking more about questions about echolali and more questions about autism. So if you haven't already, you're gonna want to hit that bell notification icon, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell, because then you'll get a notification of when that video and other videos are up and running. So guys, I hope this has been helpful. Reach out however you'd like to, and I'll see you next time here at Lingaroo, where language comes to life.